anyone's watching, or if anyone, I'm sorry, we're a little bit late, but this is the way it is when we have to deal with certain kinds of people. Anyway, we are live and we are here and we're talking to you. So if anyone's here, you're here, but maybe you're not. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Maybe not. Hello to Marianne and Francis and Cult Television. Hello to Cult Television. Yes, we've got a bit of coughing in the background immediately, which was promised would not happen, but has immediately started. Not very helpful. Right. Right. In the background, if we could please be a bit quieter, that would be helpful. Have a bit of your wine. Don't start coughing the minute I start my program. It's not very helpful. Unbelievable. There we go. There we are. Anyway, I can't control this kind of behavior, but honestly, appalling. So we've got 18 of you here. Hello to you all. Right. Hello to Josie and Northern Ireland. Hello to you. Hello to Linz and the other people. Right. Yep. Well, we were promised no noise in the background, but the immediate the program starts, the noise starts. So can't do anything about it, can I? There we are. Anyway, hello and welcome to you all. So, how are you all? Yes, let's have some questions from a few of you before a few more people come in. Yep, the coughing noises are now starting on purpose to try and ruin the program, which is exactly what happened last night. So there was no coughing for the last half an hour, I can assure you this. But the minute this program starts, the coughing noise starts. So it's not very helpful, is it? There we are. Anyway, what did I think of the Netflix Monsters series? I don't like the Netflix Monsters series. I think a very bad portrayal of the Menendez brothers, but the Menendez brothers are getting a lot of good publicity as a result of it, so it's actually worked out rather well. So it hasn't been such a bad thing overall in the end. When are you moving? Are we leaving this place soon? Yes, in the next week, definitely. Right. Okay. Good evening to Elaine Harvey. Hello. Good evening to you, Elaine. Keep calm and carry on. So, right. What do I think of Starmer and Rayna having an affair? I'm not sure that Starmer and Rayna have had an affair, but I don't know anything about it if they have. But, well, I think Starmer's probably more likely to be a homosexual. But there we go. Don't know. I've actually no idea. Don't know if Starmer's had an affair with Rayna. No idea. No idea if Starmer and Rayna have had an affair. No idea. Absolutely no idea. Can't answer the question. Sorry. Am I moving back to Broadstairs? I'd love to go back to Broadstairs to visit, but I don't think I'll be moving back there. No. That woman the vile woman who was the landlady, left a very bad taste in my stomach, to be honest. It was very unpleasant to have such a nasty woman as a landlady, a vile, evil woman like her, What a mean Mrs. Moran. I'd call her moron. She was awful. She was the nastiest person, and I don't know what's going on with this court case, whether there's going to be further court cases, but I don't like Mrs. Moron. Mrs. Moron is a moron. That's how I feel about her. Typical greedy, grasping, grabbing old landlady. miserable, mean, and nasty. She got 50 grand out of me. She should have been grateful, and she wasn't. So she wanted more. Um, anyway, never mind. It doesn't matter. I had a lovely time living in Broadstairs, and I met some wonderful, wonderful people. And I will not regret the day I moved to Broadstairs. Oh, my friend said, "You're mad. You can't go living in places like this by yourself. You don't know anybody." All this rubbish. Um, I had a lovely time with the lovely people, Max, Elaine, the lovely people at the Magnet, Steve and Nikki and Will and Karen and obviously Kate and all these other lovely people who were there, lovely, lovely people. Alan and, all the Lorraine and Graham and all the lovely people I met in Broadstairs. I was very, very lucky to have a wonderful time in a wonderful place, but nothing lasts forever, does it? You move to a place and then you move on. That's what happens in life. Life is a roller coaster. It's a bit like, an Oasis song. You just move along, don't you? You roll along, and that's what happens. So I had a great, great time, and I say cheers to all those lovely people. But no, I will not be going back to live there. And I'm very glad to be rid of, some of the other things that went on there because it was very, you know, some things were just annoying, like the stupid idiot that came to live with me. He was a bit annoying. Let's be honest. And life moves on. That's what happens. So we move along in life, and the next chapter, I don't know where it will be. I'd quite like to go to Scotland. I think that's where I'd love to go. I don't know where. I'd like to go to either Edinburgh or Shetland or Orkney or somewhere like that. I'd love a bit of Scottish independence. I'm not quite, Nicola Sturgeon. I'm not quite in her league, but I love Scotland. So I'd love to go there, or Ireland, or maybe America. I love America. I love America. I don't know where I could go in America. I love San Francisco. I could go happily back to San Francisco, and I have many, many friends there. Or I could go, but first I'll do a little bit of a tour. Let's do a bit of a tour. Let's just go on a ramble. I'm ready for a ramble. So some people are ready for a rumble. I'm ready for a ramble. So that's what I'd like to do. I'd like to go on a bit of a tour. So, right. Okay. Miss Marple says she'll be following me. That's very nice of you to say, Miss Marple. Right. Okay. And Edinburgh is great, says Josie. Yes. Lived there for a decade. Well, I'm sorry you left, because if you're not there now, it would have been a pleasure to have met you if I arrived there. So there we are. Right. Okay. What are we talking about tonight? Well, we'll talk about lots of other things in due course, but we're waiting for a few more people to arrive. Let's get to 100. Once we get to 100, we'll have a conversation, I think. You don't like Starmer? He's a toe rag. Nobody likes Starmer. Starmer is a toe rag. Yes, totally agree with you. The donkey weirdo, Farmer Harmer. Absolutely appalling man. Disgusting. Absolutely sick in the head. Don't like the Farmer Harmer Starmer. No, nobody likes Farmer Harmer. No, and no one likes Queen of Thieves, Rachel Reeves. Rachel Reeves, Queen of Thieves. Vile and disgusting. She will be sacrificed, but God help us when we get Angela Rayner as Prime Minister. It's going to be even worse. Bloody hell. That's going to be a terrible state of affairs. Going to be absolutely awful. Absolutely sick in the head. Couldn't stand it. I couldn't think of anything worse. There we go. So you hate the ginger minge? Yes. Yep. Well, we don't like her. No, and it never ends well with all these people. The old Labour Party, as it now is, which was called New Labour, was actually better than this bag of bilge. They are a bag of bilge. They are the worst political party I have ever come across in my life. Farmer, Harmer is vile. What a disgusting, revolting man attacking farmers. And, I come from a farming background, countryside and all the rest of it. How dare he attack us in the way he has? He is vile. He is revolting. He's sick. And then he attacks pensioners. He attacks everybody. There is not many people he doesn't attack. And he's a vegan. He should shove his veganism up his rocket. Awful, awful man. Terrible, terrible person. I'm not going to say any more, but I think you know how much I loathe and detest this revolting creep and his horrible Islington lefty family. What a disgusting bunch of people. I thought that his wife would actually be a sensible person because she actually likes horse racing. She hasn't done any harm to anyone, so I'm not going to criticize Lady Victoria. Lady Victoria? It's not Lady Victoria Harvey. It's Lady Victoria Stormer. She hasn't done any harm to me, so I'm not going to criticize her yet. But seriously, these people have destroyed our nation. It's a disgrace. It's an absolute outrage. I'm furious. I'm not very happy. I'm very unhappy. So I'm going to keep speaking out. But Lady Victoria Starmer has not damaged horse racing, at least. That is one redeeming feature of Starmer's government. They don't attack horse racing. And I love horse racing, as you know. So that's my only positive comment to make about the Starmer administration. There you go. I have made a positive comment. So, what do you feel about the Starmer administration? Any comments? Any comments from you, the viewers? Do you like Starmer or do you loathe Starmer? Okay, let's have some Starmer comments. Okay. He's done nothing for the country, says the first of you. Okay, well, I totally agree with you there. He's totally useless. He's making it harder for the ordinary citizen to have their say. You can't stomach Starmer. Right, okay. You can't stand the man. We've closed down for business. Yep. You really don't like him. The majority of comments here. Please let us know Min is okay. We worry about her. Asthma. Min is okay. Can Min shout up and say Min is okay? Min, can you say you're okay? Can you shout that you're okay, that you're happy? Can you speak? No, she doesn't. She's not very good at this. Can you speak? Hello?
Hello.
Can you say hello, you're okay?
Yes, I'm okay.
She's doing okay.
Love.
She sends lots of love. There we are. Send it loud and clear. Say lots of love, loud and clear.
Where are we going shopping?
Tomorrow she wants to go shopping. I've no idea where she wants to go shopping, but anyway, there we are. Anyway, right. Harry has lost his court case. I didn't know if he'd lost his court case. I don't know because I haven't checked in on it. But if he's lost his court case, wonderful news. Well done to the court for being sensible. I don't have anything to say about him. I was going to talk about the bins in Birmingham and Steve Bray, but I don't know anything about what's happened with Prince Harry. So maybe you can update me. That would be useful. Right. Okay. So when we've got a quiz, obviously you love a quiz. I've nearly written 50 quizzes in the entire time I've been here. So there's lots of quizzes for a book. Will make a great Christmas present, which I hope you will all buy and all sell to your or give to your friends. That would be a nice thing if you could. Starmer can live in the Birmingham bin heap. I think Starmer belongs in the Birmingham bin heap, don't you, lady men? Oi! Doesn't Starmer belong in the bin heap in Birmingham? No, she's not. She's falling asleep again. I'm very sorry, but yes, again, we've got sleeping, but at least we haven't got the noise tonight. Right. Madeleine McCann stole MM. Meghan Markle, I suppose you mean, not Madeleine McCann. When I think of I think of Madeleine McCann. Stole all of King Charles's ideas from Highgrove's online gift shop. I think you mean Meghan Markle, but I didn't realise because you were communicating in acronyms. Right. Okay. What about fox hunting? What about fox hunting? I have no problem with fox hunting myself, but if you don't like it, that's up to you. There we are. Right, it's illegal. Meghan Markle is a grifter. Okay, well, totally agree with that. No problem with that comment. Have I seen the new King Charles portrait? Nope, not seen that. Rude pine cone. I don't know what that means. I don't know what rude pine cone means. Mr. Lee Kicker hates fox hunting. Okay, well, you're entitled to hate fox hunting. I don't hate fox hunting, but I don't go fox hunting, but I just don't hate it. So we'll have to agree to disagree on that, sir, won't we? But it doesn't mean we can not be friends because I like you in many other ways. You seem like a very charming gentleman, but you're entitled to have a differing view, and I'm entitled to have a differing view to you. So cheers to you, and cheers to me, and cheers to me if we disagree. So down the hatch, around the gums. Look out, Tommy. Here it comes. Right, that's where I'll leave that comment. Yes, fox hunting is illegal. So what? I have no problem with fox hunting. I think fox hunting is a perfectly decent thing to do. It's not like killing giraffes or elephants or things like that. So you're entitled to your view. You're very welcome to your view. I just don't happen to agree with you. So you think it's horrific? Okay, I realize most of you hate my view. Okay, you are entitled to your view, but I don't agree with you. So not going to be changing my opinion. I grew up in the countryside, and I have to say I've experienced every kind of sport of and farming and everything else, and there is no problem with real people with fox hunting. Fox hunting, the anti-fox hunting people are the stupid people. They are morons, and they are anyway. But you're entitled to your view, so I'll let you have your view. But you don't like my view, so I'll shut up about it for now on here. But you don't like it, so what? What? You're gonna scream and yell at me? Okay, you're entitled to do that. But as Jules B says, I don't agree with fox hunting. I don't disagree with fox hunting. Fox hunting, foxes are pests. They are nuisances, and they are. There is nothing wrong with dealing with pests. There are other pests in our nature that should be dealt with, but I'm not going to go into that right now because there's no point, because you're all you don't approve about this, that, and the other. Right. Okay, I understand some of you think foxes are beautiful creatures that don't do any harm to anything, but they're not. They are pests. They do a lot of damage and they kill a lot of things. They kill pheasants. They kill all sorts of other creatures. They're not nice creatures. They have to be controlled. You can't have an overpopulation of any species. So fox hunting is not a nasty practice, dealing with the fox hunting. But anyway, never mind. I realize that some of the fox killed your chickens, says I see you. Yep, there you go. The fox killed her chickens. Quite right. You are quite correct. Coyotes says my coyotes ate my chickens. I see you says it's a British way of life. Yeah, it's part of our society. Now, I realize that I'm a campaigner against the killing of giraffes and things like that, but foxes in England need to be controlled. There are too many foxes. That is a problem, and fox hunting is not a bad thing. I have no problem with fox hunting. I have utterly no problem. I've grown up with shooting, fishing, hunting, and that's part of my life. And I don't understand why you'd have a problem with that. But I do have a problem with going off to Africa to kill endangered species. Endangered species are a totally different thing. If you go around killing, a giraffe or um, as that girl did, the goat, the endangered goat. There were only two of them left in the world, and she killed one of them, so she wiped out the species. That is an evil thing to do. You don't go around killing out endangered species. But a fox is a predator that needs to be controlled. It needs to be managed. It cannot be allowed to take over an area, because what happens to the other animals living in that area is that they get wiped out. So, no. And the fox thinks it's fun to kill things. Foxes are not pleasant creatures when it comes to killing. They play for kill. They don't eat the things they kill. They don't kill for food. They kill for pleasure. So I'm not a great fan of no foxes being ever managed. One has to manage every kind of species. So there we go. They are beautiful creatures. I totally agree. I'm not arguing with you. They are beautiful. I love the fox. Beautiful to look at. But foxes, we can't have too many of them. That's the problem. A fox killed my rabbit when I was a kid, and I cried for days, says Janet Jackson. Did you hear that, Lady Men? A fox killed my rabbit, and I cried for days. Did you hear that?
Yes.
Poor child.
Wonderful.
Poor child. No, the fox killed her rabbit. Yeah, she's not listening. Okay. Right. They breed foxes so they can hunt them. That's a load of rubbish. That's a total lie. Absolute load of rubbish. Don't agree. But Mr. Lee Kicker. Okay, we get on many topics, but not this one. Right. Anyway. Right. Okay. Right. Okay. So anyway, have we any other topics? Let's move along. Have you any more questions about something else other than fox hunting? I don't want to talk about fox hunting anymore. Totally bored of it. Questions from the floor, please. Any questions? Did I ever report on Johnny Depp, Amber Heard? I did meet Johnny Depp once in Venice when he was filming The Tourist, obviously. Nice gentleman. I've never met Amber Heard, don't know her, couldn't really comment on her. I think Johnny Depp is a charming gentleman. Did I ever meet David Icke? No, never met him. I think the man is a complete burk. He talks a lot of old rot, crazy and cuckoo. Not my kind of person. Okay, next one. All right. Is Russell Brand still speaking on social media? I no idea. Don't know. Don't follow Russell Brand anywhere. I think the man is disgusting. His dog killed a wallaby, and I thought that was evil and horrible. I think Russell Brand is a piece of turd. Yes, you're using the word turd. So, yep, I would say the word turd is a good word for him. He's horrible. His dog killed a wallaby. That's disgusting. What a horrible thing to do. And he allowed that to happen. Have I ever considered a career as a greengrocer? Not really, no. Why would I be a greengrocer? I don't know. Very interesting question, but bizarre. Thank you, Trevor. But why would I want to be selling lettuce or potatoes? I don't know. Very odd question, but I've no idea why you asked the question. I do know my onions, say Miss Marple. Have I ever met John Linden, aka Johnny Rotten? Nope, never met John Linden, Johnny Rotten. Nope. Okay. Okay. I'm a gin grocer, Salou. I don't know what that means. I've absolutely no idea. Okay. I've absolutely no idea. Do I do any crafts or hobbies? I don't do crafts. No, not into crafts. Right. Right. What's my opinion on the bin strike? Okay, well, I'll come to the bin strike. I'll talk about the bin strike in a moment. When we've got a few more people here, we've got a few more. What was the last concert that I attended? I went on tour once with Coldplay. I've done a few others. Yep, Coldplay, I suppose, was my. I've met lots of musicians, but no, I went on tour with Coldplay on a bus. It was quite fun. Have I ever brewed my own beer? No, I've never brewed my own beer, but maybe one day. Who knows? I like beer, but I don't drink a lot of it. I'm more of a gin man, to be honest. Let's be frank. Gin and wine. Let's be fine. There we go. No, you don't want the garbage. No, you don't want me to talk about the garbage. Okay, you don't actually want me. Do I like a good cheese board? Oh, yes, we had a good cheese board today for lunch, didn't we, Lady Min? Hello? We had some nice cheese at lunch.
Mhm.
Didn't we have a nice cheese board?
Mhm.
No, she doesn't remember, but anyway, she's half asleep. But yes, we did have some very nice cheese at lunch. Yes. So there we go. Nice blue cheese and all sorts of things. What's the best watering hole where I am in the south of France? Um, well, there are good restaurant. I'm more of a restaurant person than bars, to be honest, down here. But I would say I like to go to Le Salon, which is a fabulous restaurant in Ramatuelle. I like to go to Paulette, who runs a lovely restaurant in La Garde Freinet, the Petit Freinet. And there's a new restaurant, but I don't know its name because it doesn't have a name because it doesn't have a sign yet, which opened on Friday, which is about 3 or 4 doors down from Paulette. That's very nice. And where else would I go in the locality? Oh, yes. I'd like to go also, if I had a choice, to the Plan de la Tour, where there's a lovely restaurant there. Fabulous restaurant there. Yeah, that's a few restaurants in the locality here. I like good restaurants. Of course I do. I love simple, good food. And then, of course, in Coquelin, there is the most wonderful, wonderful restaurant, which is called the Petit Maison. And that's run by the son of Arnaud, who runs the shop in the Port Grimaud. Um, and they have a lovely little restaurant, and it's got a beautiful garden. So I'd recommend that. 35 euro for a set lunch. Fabulous. You couldn't beat it. Absolutely great. Absolutely spectacular. There's a few good tips if you're in the vicinity. So there we are. Right. Okay. So would I consider being a cruise speaker? Well, possibly. I wouldn't mind going on. Well, I'd give it a go. I'm just the only thing I'd fear is it could become like the Titanic. I could end up sinking, couldn't I? So, if I'm on a cruise boat, I could end up going down with the bloody boat, couldn't I? And, I'd have to survive. Um, no, I've never been on a cruise boat. I've been to visit a cruise boat because we had a business where we sold alcohol to cruise boats, and I did go and look at the cruise boats, but um, I don't know if I'd want to be on a cruise boat. I always think of the Titanic. I've got this thing about cruise boats, but maybe, you've got this horrible thing. Once you get on, you can't get off. You're stuck on the bloody thing. So I don't know if I'd want to go on a cruise boat. I don't know whether I'd be terrified of being on it because every moment you're on it, you're thinking, could this be the next Titanic? Um, I know it's highly unlikely that the thing would sink, or there would be highly unlikely that somebody would rescue you, or whatever would happen. But I just, I just don't like the idea of it. Never liked the idea of a cruise boat. I just think, it's a floating council house, basically, full of awful people who you probably don't want to be with, or it's a floating casino, so you can do a bit of gambling. That's probably about all. The only reason you'd want to be on it is the gambling. Um, I I've never found the idea of a cruise boat attractive. I think cruise boats are There's just something scary about them. There's something weird about them. That is very off-putting. Never ever found the concept attractive. So there we are. Right. Trevor says something about Lynn's You Read My Mind. Try the ferry across the Mersey. Well, maybe one day. I've no problem with council estate tenants. Please don't mistake me. I think people who live in council houses are perfectly lovely people. Nothing wrong with a person who lives in a council house, but you know, um, sorry for the shouting in the background, and no, council houses are perfectly wonderful things, and I think people who live in them are, nothing wrong with them, no problem at all. No, I think you get me wrong, totally wrong. Have I ever met Robbie Williams? No, I've never met Robbie Williams. There we are. Right. Um, you didn't like the Costa Concordia. Well, yeah, that was a very dangerous boat as well. So another reason not to go on one of those. Mr. Lee Kicker grew up in a council house. Well, I have no problem with council houses. I have actually, please don't think that I'm attacking council houses. I have many friends who are actually tramps or homeless. So no, I do not dislike people who come from deprived backgrounds. That is not correct, and I'm not attacking someone because they come from a council house. Right. Yes. You understood. You misunderstood, and you accept it now. Thank you for your acknowledgement that perhaps you misunderstood. You think that the king has the biggest council house in the country. Well, King Charles is a fabulous man, and he's utterly wonderful, and I love him very much. We don't need to hear her shouting in the background, but there we go. Dennis Nielsen. I don't know what he's got to do with it, but he was a murderer. I don't know what he's got to do with it. Right. Nicola asks, "How is Lady Min today?" Well, she's making a racket in the background as usual. There we go. She promised she wouldn't, but she's made negative comments about King Charles, which is not very nice. A good quiche Lorraine. You like a good quiche Lorraine? I love I love quiche Lorraine. Absolutely. Quiche Lorraine is a delicious dish. Absolutely fabulous. Right. Okay. Right. Have I got a tiebreaker question? No, I don't have a tiebreaker question ready, but I think I can use one. I've got one sitting in front of me, in fact. So, am I a killer? Um, what? I went on tour with Coldplay once. And I wanted to go on tour with the Killers. Yep, I'd love to have gone on tour with the Killers, but I don't believe I'm a killer. No, I don't know. What am I a killer of? Yep, I have been shooting and fishing and all of that. Yep, done lots of that. So I'm probably, in your mind, a killer. You obviously have a problem with me, whoever you are. It's very well. You can have your problem. It doesn't matter. I don't care. I think shooting, fishing, and hunting, it's a fabulous thing. It adds to the world because we actually are the preservers of the countryside. Um, my father plants trees. He does wonderful things for hedgerows. My friend Sir Benjamin Slade has brought back the beaver. We are doing many wonderful things with animals. We care about animals. We are the conservers of the countryside. And I know that some of you think that we're just disgusting, horrible people, but yeah, shove it up your bloody jumper. I'm not interested. I'm bored to hear about people moaning about me. Why don't you bog off? Why don't you shove it up your jumper? Ghastly. I've absolutely had enough of these people. Um, you know, the countryside is conservation involves doing things. We have pheasant shooting because it generates income for our farm. You know, it's involved in work. Fishing is the same. Yeah. So we do actually conservation. What do? You sit there and you moan. You moan and you groan and you fucking whinge and you whine. You're a bunch of whinging pests. Absolutely sick of people like you. Go away. Bored of hearing it. Sorry. No. I don't like people who attack, people who do actual proper conservation. We actually are the people who conserve the hedgerows. You wouldn't have a hedgerow if it weren't for hunting. You stupid people. You morons. You're absolutely thick. You're as dumb as ditch water. You're absolutely foolish. And I'm not going to pipe down. I believe in conservation and I bring back the wolf. You know, Everyone says don't bring back the wolf because it will kill the sheep. Well, no, bring back the wolf. Let's bring back everything. Let's have conservation real style. Let's do it all. I am a believer in the countryside. I'm very, very lucky to have grown up in such a privileged, lovely lifestyle. And my mother is very into gardening, and that's another wonderful thing. We love plants. We love every kind of plant. We do everything. My mother is one of the best gardeners in Britain. She's a fabulous gardener and she does great for the good. And our wonderful friend, Dr. Shirley Sherwood, who is the leading botanist in Britain. She is a wonderful family friend. What a lovely lady. She brings back all the historic plants to Britain and she does fabulous work. Her husband recreated the Orient Express train, but she brought back the plants. We love plants. So don't start attacking me over all this, you stupid, silly Burks, whoever you are. You're absolutely boring. Don't like you. Anyway, there we go. Anyway, yes, Pitfield loved the Orient Express. Well, Shirley's husband brought back the Orient Express. What a wonderful thing he did. James Sherwood, American. He was the owner of the Hotel Cipriani in Venice, my favorite hotel in the world. I love that hotel. I love sitting by the pool there, and what a great place to be. You couldn't be in a better place than that hotel. And what a wonderful man he was. So there you go. Thank you for your kind comment. You'd love to go on the Orient Express, Elaine. Well, save up your money and go on it. I went on it from London to Venice, and wow, what a journey. Nobody got murdered, but I wasn't murdered on the Orient Express, but I had a fabulous time. And please go on it once in your lifetime. If you can only do it once, I'd love to do it again, and I will do it again because I love train journeys. And Michael Portillo, the man who makes the program about the trains, he makes fun programs about other trains, lots of trains, but including that one. He's probably been on that one. I'm sure he has. But what a wonderful thing to go on. You couldn't beat going on the Orient Express. Portillo is excellent on those shows. Yes, I totally agree with you, Cult Television. Portillo is the best. Portillo is brilliant television. Michael Portillo was a loathed and detested politician. He was obnoxious and horrible in many people's eyes. And then he did a TV show about trains, and everybody loved him. What a wonderful thing he created. He transformed himself. What a fabulous story. And I like stories like that. I like people who become, someone who can go from being the villain of the piece to being the gem of the decade. And that's what he was. What a wonderful man. Um, Fabulous Michael Portillo. Absolutely the best. TV shows in about the watercress line, which was a TV a railway line that went to go, and you could create the water, you could collect the watercress. Um, he did all of these kind of weird places that no one would ever have heard of otherwise. But he did the watercress line, and isn't that fabulous? Wonderful. Yes, Cult Television says you love the watercress line. It's in Alresford. Yes, thank you, Cult Television. He grew up near there. Cult Television is one of my very good friends, and with that, there you go. It's a lovely day out to go on the watercress line. Wouldn't you agree, Lady Min?
What?
To go on the watercress line, the train journey to the watercress.
Oh, yes.
Yes, in Hampshire. I don't think she knows where it is, but anyway, it's still a lovely day out. Yes. Right. Okay. Well, Michael Portillo is educated us about lots of things. Well, I totally agree. I think Michael Portillo has done a fabulous thing for the nation. He's educated people about train travel. And isn't it a joy to travel by train? And I'm going to travel around the UK by train. That's my plan. I want to go to Scotland, and I want to go to Devon, and I want to go here, there, and everywhere. And I'm going to go by train. It's going to be fabulous. Absolutely wonderful. Do I like the film Train Spotting? Well, it was entertaining to watch, but it's nothing to do with the concept of what I'm going to be doing. But Train Spotting was a fabulous film to watch. Great entertainment. Ewan McGregor and all of that. Fabulous, fantastic, but no, it's a bit of a different thing. Right. You want me to sell merch? Oh, I don't really know much about merch. I might come to one of these things in one of my. You like gardening? Could I do the Edinburgh Festival? I'd love to be at the Edinburgh Festival. I've never been to the Edinburgh Festival. I love Edinburgh, though. As you know, Edinburgh is one of my favourite cities in the world. It is the best. It's just so fabulous to be in. But during this festival, it's very hard to have anywhere to go. So unless I've got someone to stay with, I don't know. Right, you would love me to make a jumper, a shove it up your jumper. Okay, well, I don't know if I can make a jumper. No, I could ask this Bernard Wetherill if they'd make me a jumper, because I think I've done them enough promotion. I'm not wearing tonight. I'm wearing something very different. Unfortunately, I do apologise. I should be in a Bernard Wetherill jumper, but I'm not. As you can see, you probably guessed what jumper I'm in. But oops, I did it again, as they say. Right, okay. You would like me to go on the Orient Express? Yes. Well, I've been on the Orient Express, so I can do that. I've already done it, so I don't need to. I can do it again. I'd love to do it again with pleasure if someone wants to send me. It's only £3,300 to go one way to Venice. Currently, I read yesterday. So yeah, it's £6,600 for a return journey. But I would say it's bloody well worth it. I love it. It's one of the best things on the planet. Right. Okay. You'd like me to do some gardening clothes. Okay. Well, right. Gardening clothes. Me. A range of gardening clothes by me. Okay. Well, I'm quite good at gardening, I will admit. I'm not as good as my mother. My mother is an international treasure when it comes to gardening. And, you know, some of her friends are a little bit more distinguished than her. Um, but I will say I like gardening. Yes, gardening is a pleasurable experience. It's something that gives you a bit of time to heal from whatever you're worried about. And when you're doing gardening, you can think about something a little different. So, dealing with the plants, you know, like King Charles, he likes to talk to the plants. He's well known for talking to the plants. Other people, you know, have different feelings about plants as well. And gardening is just it's just a pleasurable experience, I will say. So there we are. Right. Oh, you're going on about King Charles's spiders. Okay. He likes to write with spiders. Yes, he does get a bit carried away with that. But anyway, I don't know. I don't know King Charles personally. Never met him personally. I've met his children. I've met his wife. I've never met him, so I cannot possibly comment on his spiders. No, so no, I don't know. But I think that he is not a bad man. He doesn't do harm. He is adding good to the world. He's doing good, and let's just celebrate him. I think he's a good person. Out of all the people in the world who we should hate at the moment, if you want to hate anybody, hate Keir Starmer. You know, hate Rachel Reeves, Queen of Thieves, the woman who's destroying our farmers. Our farmers in Britain deserve our support. I love the farmers. I hate with a passion Rachel Reeves, the Queen of Thieves. She is a disgusting, sickening, evil woman because she is harming our beautiful farming community. And farmers, to me, are the best people on the planet because if we don't have farmers, what do we have? Shame on her. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes.
We hate Rachel Reeves. And there is nobody, I don't normally use the word hate. I really hate the Queen of Thieves. I want the Queen of Thieves destroyed. She is a filthy, rotten piece of scumbag. She is wicked. She's evil. And she makes me feel sick. She makes me feel sick through, you know, I'm like the awful, says Lady Men. But I really cannot tolerate what that woman is doing to our beautiful farming community. Our farmers, our farmers and our pensioners should be protected, not destroyed. What a wicked, evil woman. And we hate Barrymore, yes. Of course we hate Barrymore. But Barrymore is a different category. Barrymore is just someone I'm disgusted by because he does a lot of evil. I agree with you entirely. I cannot stand Michael Barrymore. Michael Barrymore is one of the most vile, evil people on the planet.
Talk about something else.
It's absolutely disgusting that Barrymore even gets any kind of anywhere, but he is appalling. Um,
Something else.
no, can you please be quiet in the background? I don't need shouting in the background from a certain person.
About something.
No, you are to be quiet. And we'll talk about whatever I wish to talk about. Um, yes, it's no,
Talking about him all the time.
no, 112 years ago since the Titanic sank. No, we talked about the Titanic yesterday. I did that. That's already been dealt with. No, we're not talking about the Titanic again. But no, Michael Barrymore is one of the most vile, evil people on the planet. He's a predator. Yes, I totally agree with you, squidgy nuisance. Um, right. Did I watch the Jeremy Clarkson farm show? No, I've never watched any of Jeremy Clarkson's farm shows. No. But I think Jeremy Clarkson has done a very good thing for farming. I think Jeremy Clarkson has been fantastic, a voice of reason. He has added to the narrative. He has added good things. So no, I don't have a problem with Jeremy Clarkson. There you go. Will say totally support Jeremy Clarkson. Yeah.